Great. So I have started the 21-day purification process program. It was advised by my nutritionist to do this. It's 21 days of, um, kind of made a joke about this, of egg-free, nut-free, dairy-free, grain-free, processed refined foods free, which is fine because I actually don't eat a lot of processed foods. Um, and like, kind of joking, food free because basically, what the hell are you eating? Um, it's a little bit hard because I love eating nuts and eggs. I love eating eggs in the morning, but I'm going to be stopping that for 21 days at least. So we'll see how that goes. Um, so I'm going to actually do something I've never done before. I'm going to actually share my weight and my sizes, my inches, um, just to be really transparent about like how much I'm losing and what I'll look like, I guess. So I figured I'll do. You can't see my whole body, and sorry about the weird changes in lighting, but I am in my office at work. So this is the front part of my body. This is my side, and I don't need to show my back, but that will at least give an idea of what I look like. And yeah, I mean, I'm not like super whatever. Anyhow, so like I said, I'm starting this because it was advice of my nutritionist. Um, I started doing keto in advice of my doctor because I'm trying to lose 30 pounds to do my IVF egg retrieval. Unfortunately, I have literally been losing and gaining the same 5 pounds for about 3 months. So it's incredibly frustrating. So my doctor told me to get a nutritionist and walk through like my eating habits and things like that and try to figure out like why I'm struggling basically and I'm plateauing because I am not light. People are usually shocked when I tell them how much I weigh, but I weigh in at 236 pounds. I'm not light and I'm not tall, so there's no excuse for me to be so heavy. That being said, my 236, I might look like this, but there's other people who are my weight that look very different. Um, that's just kind of how individual bodies work, right? You could have two people the same weight, same height, but their body structure is very different, so they look very different. That being said, yeah, so that's why I've started this. I found a nutritionist, and she was like, do you want to do the 21-day detox program to start off, and then we'll start reintroducing foods back into your system after? And I said, let's do it. She did explain to me that it would be all these free things, dairy-free and nut-free and everything else. That's fine. The way I see it is there's a few things I want to get out of this, right? I want to find out what works really well for my body. I also want to get better at how I'm eating. I didn't eat terribly before I started this program. So that being said, I have seen other people post their reviews on the 21-day purification process, and they've all been very different, right? And I think it really starts with how bad were you eating before you started the program, and how active were you before you started the program. So before I started the program, for the past month, I want to say, I've been doing 5 days of weight training, 3 days or 2 days of HIIT workouts, and 2 days of steady state workouts, 25 minutes each. So like I said, if you start doing this and you don't work out and then you start working out, you're probably going to feel very much more differently than I do. Yeah, but so let me, I did my day one started yesterday, so today is actually day 2 for me. Sorry about the changing, and can't help it, it's the windows, right, and how much light comes streaming in. But my day 1 yesterday was actually quite terrible because, and again, I attribute that also to lack of sleep. I was only able to sleep for about 3 hours the night before. So I was actually just pretty tired to begin with. And So today I feel like it's going to be a more honest representation of how I will feel by the end of the day. Um, so yesterday I'd only slept for 3 hours, and the way that the program works is you're given um, just like a ton of stuff. You're given um, the SP Complete, and I got the SP Complete Dairy Free, SP Cleanse, SP Gastrofiber, and also an SP, I think it's Green Food is what it's called. And so the way that it's working is for days 1 through 7, I'm supposed to have the SP Complete Dairy Free, which is basically a protein powder. Well, protein powder, there is protein in it, and there's carbs in it and things like that, but the protein is pretty low compared to like the protein powder, the whey protein that I would normally use. It has got about 10 grams of protein. And you're supposed to put that in a shake of some kind twice a day. Um, SP Cleanse is going to sound so insane, and part of this is because I'm not really huge on supplements. I take vitamins, and that's pretty much where my supplements end. I don't take anything additional to that. Uh, but the SP Cleanse, you're supposed to take 7 of them 3 times a day. So that's, yeah, you heard that right. You're taking 21 pills a day. And then you're also supposed to take the gastrofiber pills, 3 of those 3 times a day. Um, my nutritionist told me to just do the gastrofiber pills twice a day, thank God. So I'm only taking, what is that, 27 pills, plus my vitamins that I take. So I'm my prenatal vitamin, and I also take vitamin D. So I'm taking around 30 some odd pills a day, which is hard. um, I mean, it's not hard taking them, but it's hard remembering. They do have a program that you can download that'll remind you to take them, but I'm just taking them with my food. I usually find that to be pretty helpful. But yesterday in the morning, I took, um, I did the powder in a protein format. So I basically made myself a smoothie. In my smoothie, I pretty much make it the same way I make all my smoothies, except I replace my whey protein with this powder. Um, Frozen fruit, so I used pineapple yesterday, and I do like a handful of kale, so about a cup of kale, um, coconut milk, because again, it's a nut free. So I normally would drink almond milk, so I had to buy coconut milk for this. Coconut milk, and yeah. Oh, and then I also add an MCT oil as well. So I do a tablespoon of MCT oil and 2 tablespoons of this protein powder. And I'm going to be honest, I know some people are like, oh, it doesn't taste like anything. They're lying. It's really powdery. So you do have to, like, it has a powdery flavor to it as well, even after you've blended it. So to me, it's not really enjoyable to drink. I'm sure there's other things I can add to the shake to kind of mask that flavor and that texture. But to me, I can still taste it. Um, and it's not super pleasant. I pretty much leave my bullet blender on for like, I don't know, maybe like a minute or so. I pretty much started, and I'm putting away the dishes from the dishwasher while it's going. Um, Even blending it for that long, though, you can still taste some of like the graininess of it. So that's just a warning. If that doesn't bother you, then fine. I will also say that I did do a massive meal prep on Monday, and I don't normally do meal preps because I like eating my food fresh, and usually I only make enough extra dinner to take for lunch the next day. But just to kind of keep everything super easy for myself on this, that is what I'm doing. So I did a pretty huge meal prep. I did a bunch of roasted veggies. The veggies that I used were broccoli, Brussels sprouts, so primarily cruciferous vegetables. Not kale. I also added in red bell pepper, onion, um, diced up some sweet potatoes as well. Tossed all that together with seasoning of salt and pepper. Always salt your food if you don't cook very often. And coconut oil. I wanted to use more, instead of using, you can use olive oil for sure, but I wanted to use something that had a little bit more oomph to it. Um, so I used the coconut oil instead, salt, pepper, and then I threw it in the oven for like, I don't know, 35 minutes or so, 35 to 40 minutes, because depending on how well you dice, your sweet peppers may not all cook consistent, or sweet potato, I'm sorry, your sweet potato may not cook consistently, so you have to make sure that you cook that through as well. And then I do a flip of the veggies halfway through the cooking process. So at around 20 minutes, I flipped them and then cook them again, and then, just put them back in the oven. The other thing that I did also bulk cook is quinoa. So again, it's grain free, but but I guess quinoa is considered a pseudo grain. I love quinoa, so it's not a huge deal. And you can make like I like to do my base quinoa because then you can take the quinoa later on in the week. And this is what I plan to do anyway. Later on this week, is to take it, chop up some cucumber, some tomato, toss it with some citrus and olive oil, just kind of make like a quinoa salad with some cilantro. The other thing I also bulk cooked was lentils. Never made them before. I've had them. I've never made them. They're relatively easy. Like the lentils, I like the lentils and the quinoa. I cook them both in bone broth. You can totally cook it in just normal stock. I like to cook my stuff like that in stocks, primarily because it gives just a lot more flavor to it and a lot more nutrients, especially with the bone broth. Um, so yeah, so I pre-cooked all that, threw that all in the fridge, so now I'm just kind of mixing and matching that to kind of make meals. So yesterday, like I said, what I had was the smoothie for my first meal, and then I took the 7 pills. I found that I can't take 10 pills at once. Like seven, I think is kind of my limit. Um, in terms of how I felt after I take them, I will say that I did feel kind of queasy, and my stomach didn't feel super great afterwards. Maybe that'll change as this program continues, but I'm only on day one. My second meal was just a handful of sunflower seeds. So you can't eat nuts, but these sunflowers, there's a few seeds that are okay. So I have some sunflower seeds, um, and some blueberries. And my third meal, I took some lentils, I took some of the quinoa, took my roasted vegetables, heated that all up, and then I threw on my plate like half of an avocado for additional fat, and that was quite delicious. And I salt and pepper my avocado as well. What else did I eat? And then meal four, I had another shake, but I also added in. But my problem is like I don't generally like drinking my calories. I really like eating my calories. So having 2 shakes a day is a little difficult for me. Um, so with my shake, I also added some more sunflower seeds and some dried unsweetened coconut. And then for meal five, I made a curry. Um, and you're not supposed to eat protein on this program for like 11 days. But talking to my nutritionist, she said because I work out so much, she would prefer that I have protein, like meat protein, like at least once, maybe twice a day. Um, and honestly, I feel really good about that because I do need the protein. So I just took one chicken breast, cut that up. The Thai curry was awesome, by the way. Um, if you've ever made homemade curry, it's really really easy. If you haven't made it, all you need is a can of coconut milk, and get the full fat coconut milk because it has like all that cream at the top. And all I did was to make the actual curry itself is I will get a small saucepan. I will dice and chop up some ginger and garlic. And this is all just kind of to taste, honestly. I maybe did like an inch of ginger and The cloves of garlic were pretty small, so I used 5. So I chopped that all up, throw that in with a little bit of, I put it in coconut oil. I cooked it in coconut oil. And as it kind of gets fragrant, I add in curry powder. And again, this is just a taste. Like, I don't measure it. I probably did about a tablespoon of curry powder. Um, and then when that gets really fragrant, you don't want the garlic and the ginger to burn. It's very easy for that to happen, so you have to watch it. It takes like maybe a minute for the spices to cook together. And then I toss in the coconut oil. I'm sorry, not coconut oil, coconut milk, and yeah, and then let that cook down. The cream starts to dissipate and melts, and or the coconut fat, I mean, melts, and then you just add in a smidge of fish sauce. Again, I didn't measure it, and that again is because cooking to me is all about taste. So whatever you like, start small. Fish sauce is really strong. So I think I might have poured in like half a tablespoon or so, maybe 2 teaspoons, okay, maybe 3 teaspoons of the fish sauce. Again, salt to taste. Except the fish sauce, when you get that stuff in, you can't really take it out. So be really careful with the fish sauce. And I added in a little bit of tamari, not soy sauce, but tamari, because tamari is gluten free. Yeah, so those were my meals for the day. Overall, I felt pretty satiated. I wasn't really hungry at all. I will say that I did my workout in the morning, so it was right after I had consumed the shake and the pills. And I actually couldn't finish my workout because I started to feel really nauseous. And so I was like, okay, I'm only going to do half of these today. And I didn't get around to doing my HIIT workout either because of that. Again, we'll see how that goes. I'm going to actually share my stats with you guys because this is day 1. I'll do a stat update every week up until the last day. Let me see here. So I weighed in yesterday at 236, and I measure like my neck and everything else. So my neck is 12 inches. My bust is 40 inches. My arm is 11 and a half inches. My waist is 37 inches. My hips are 42 inches. My thigh is 23 inches. My calf is 14 and a half inches. And my ankle is 7 inches. So that is my measurement right now. Oh, and my body fat percentage is right now at 44.9, and my BMI is 41.3. So I will measure all of these again every week, and I will do the update. Sorry this was so long. I think I just had a lot to say because it's the first day, and so I wanted to give you guys an idea on what this program actually is and what you get with it. I also will say that if you are to purchase this program yourself, they will give you a booklet so you know like the kinds of foods you can eat. And yeah, right now, and again, I think it depends. Like some people I saw when I was researching this program, I guess they don't eat a lot of variety of vegetables, which is fine, like not everyone does. I tend to be pretty steady with cruciferous vegetables, so I generally gravitate towards kale and broccoli and Brussels sprouts. Like those are my go-to, and that's what I prefer to eat. But I am going to try to do some other things. I do eat like collard greens and Swiss chard and things like that, but I don't make them very often just because usually like the stores that I go to don't usually have those in stock. Like I'd have to go to like a Whole Foods or Central Market or something. But I tend to do a lot of my shopping at Trader Joe's because it's inexpensive, and a lot of the times the food will be pre-chopped for you. So like broccoli is already chopped in a bag, and that's loads easier for me, especially because it's just one less thing I have to worry about and take care of. All right, great. Well, I will do daily updates, and I'll do my big weekly update at the end. Thank you. Bye.